Hey folks, Brendan from Bluelight here. And one of the questions I'm often asked is, what sort of questions am I going to get at the final interview? Sometimes called in-force interview, sometimes called senior interview. This is the one that's outside of the online assessment centre. So here's one of the questions or sets of questions that one force is asking, and boy, are these tough questions. I really like them. And the reason I really like them is because they reflect the sort of role that you're going into. That's why they ask these questions. They want to hear about your past experience, because your past experience will give them an indicator as to how you're going to be able to manage situations in your future as a police officer. So if you've not experienced life at its fullest and you've not immersed yourself in roles where you've had to give 120% without being asked to do so, you might struggle with some of these questions. So if you do at the end of this feel like, I don't know what to say, well, listen, there is help at hand, because on my interactive webinars that I run to help people for the interview course, and by the way, just go to bluelightonline.co.uk, go to services, drop down, you'll see all about the interview advice there I give. I run these 2-hour webinars where we talk about these sort of questions. We don't just talk about it, we actually practice them and then debrief them. And I can give people guidance on what aspects of their lives they can utilize to answer these questions. But anyway, let's go back to these questions, some awesome questions here. And I want to tell you why they are so important, why they relate so strongly to policing. And this is what you can put at the end of your interview answers. So when you're using SAL, situation, aim, actions, the result, the learning, the knowledge and understanding. This is the knowledge and understanding part where you can talk about why this behavior is so important. So pin your ears back, folks. You're going to like this one. So the first one, challenging behavior. This is challenging inappropriate behavior or improper behavior. Now, the police service is on a journey. I know because I've been part of it for 3 decades, over 3 decades now. I've been working in the sector for 35 years, and it is on a journey. Back in the 80s, it really was like something off Life on Mars, and it needed to change. And I'd like to think as part of that change, I challenged inappropriate behavior, and it wasn't easy, trust me. It's not easy at all. Now we've got the code of ethics. It makes it an absolute requirement to challenge inappropriate behavior or any misconduct. And they want to find out whether you're the sort of person who will. And don't tell me that you've never witnessed any inappropriate behavior or misconduct, because I just don't buy that. I don't buy it at all. Where have you been all your life? So you need to be the sort of person who's going to challenge it. Now, challenging it isn't sort of, you need to stop there, you can't do that. Challenging people is often making them aware of what they're doing, because they don't know what they're doing is actually inappropriate. So there's techniques you can utilize to challenge people in a way that's non-challenging, actually. Non-challenging, but it's still a challenge. So that's a really good question, and that's a common one as well. Next one, I really like this. Tell me about a time when you've worked on a problem as part of a team and where you got a different result. You got a different result to the one you wanted. Now, this is such a good question, because this is what policing is. You know, as an inspector and a sergeant, as a constable, I realise that every time we embark on a task, or we're going to deal with something and we're hoping to deal with it well, brilliantly, give 120% without being asked to do so, invariably the end result is nothing like what you thought it was going to be, because that's the nature of the complicated role that you're in as a police officer. Things never work out how you think they're going to work out. And that's why we like the job so much. That's why it's so amazing. So that's a cracking question, don't you think? Rarely does anything ever go to plan. So you need contingencies all the time. Next question, time when you've had to justify a decision to others. Awesome, awesome. This sort of question has been knocking around for years. In 1985, when I was running off the mountains in Dovey, to join the Cheshire Constabulary back then, we had to do 3 days and 2 nights in the Welsh Mountains. I thought I was joining the Royal Marines. Some of the exercises we did as well, a bit weird. You know, being blindfolded at 11 o'clock at night and led out blindfolded and stood on top of an oil drum and then being asked to fall backwards. You know, it's just a bit weird. What competency does that get assessed against? Anyway, fortunately, or unfortunately, you might be thinking, I love that kind of stuff, but fortunately we don't do that sort of thing anymore. But after a 12-mile hike up and down hills and mountains, you had to run the last mile, and there's Inspector Jeff Churchman running alongside me saying, Mr. O'Brien, tell me about a time when you've had to make a difficult decision. So this sort of question has been knocking around forever, because as a police officer, you have to make difficult decisions. And importantly, you have to account for those decisions to others. Key part of the Code of Ethics and the Competency and Values Framework. So justifying, accounting for your decisions is something you will have to do on a daily basis, especially when you're taking away someone's freedom. When you arrest someone, yes, you have to arrest people as police officers. The amount of application forms I see when it says, what sort of things do you expect to be doing in the role of a police officer? Rarely do people actually say arresting people. You're going to have to take away people's freedom so you can investigate an alleged offence that they've committed. Just thought I'd let you know that, because I'm sure there's some people don't realise that that's actually a core thing that cops do. Next one, you wanted to achieve something, but there were barriers in your way. What did you do to get through those barriers? I love this. I actually got given a plaque when I finished at Sale Neighbourhood Policing Team as an inspector. I was subject of a cabinet reshuffle and ended up somewhere else as a neighbourhood inspector, which was awesome because I got these amazing opportunities to do things I'd never have done at Sale. Back then, though, didn't like it. So, but anyway, when I left my team, it was a joyous and sad occasion. Joyous because we'd had so many good times. It was a dream team. Sad because I was having to leave them. Never upset your chief superintendent, because that's what I did. I think it's time Brendan went to a different division. Off you go, bye. Anyway, they gave me this wonderful little plaque, and in Latin it said, let's remember what it said, if I can't find a way, I'll make a way. And that's what I used to say a lot. Listen, if we can't find a way to deal with this, we'll make one. We'll find a way through this. How are you going to get through the barriers that you're going to have to deal with on a daily basis? Awesome question. Next one there, a time when you've had to be flexible, and at that time as well where you've had to encourage other people to be flexible. This is a brilliant question because it's all about managing change and resilience. Not just managing change for other people, but you managing the changes that are going to be imposed on you or required of you or sometimes requested of you. And I know what often gets said around a parade room table. I've been there. Listen, it was just 10 minutes into the Metropolitan Police being formed in 1829 when someone said, do you know the jobs? Get me? So you'll hear that all the time. All right, you can laugh and joke about it, but ultimately we've got a job to do and we need to be flexible. We need to encourage other people to be flexible when faced with change, because there's always going to be change. One of the things I used to say to my officers when they said, oh, the goalposts are always changing. Listen, tomorrow you're going to come into work and you're going to think, where are the goalposts? And I'm going to go, they're there in the centre of the pitch. And you're going to go, those aren't goalposts. They're round and there's no net and they're multicoloured. And I'm going to say, whoever said that goalposts had to be at the end of the field? Whoever said that goalposts have actually got to have a net? And whoever said that they needed to be white? Things are going to change. There's only one constant, and that is change. That tomorrow is going to be completely different to today, and today is going to be completely different to yesterday. And that is just a constant. So get your head around it, folks, and start looking at how you are going to manage change in the workplace that you're in now, or the organisation that you're in now, and how you're going to do it when you're in the police. All right, last one. A time when you've used information to make a decision in difficult or extreme circumstances. So this question gets to the very heart of what you need to do as part of the National Decision Model. Very first part of it, gather and collect information and intelligence. And so many police officers will jump into a response without thinking about all the information that they need to consider a variety of options and then choose one of those options with a sound rationale based on good information that you've collected and gathered from sources that aren't just people, but guidance and policy and interweb, and then you're able to make the best decisions. Those people who've got the most options are capable of making the best decisions. Another little phrase from my time in the police. In difficult or extreme circumstances, yeah, they don't just want to know about something you do on a daily basis. Now, this isn't about saving lives or anything that's going to end up with tea and medals with the chief superintendent. This is just about making good decisions at times when you've had to give 120% without being asked to do so. What do you reckon, folks? Awesome questions. I'm not going to, should I tell you which 4 C's I think these are from? Nah, I'm going to tease you. If you want to find out, if you're applying to this particular force, you've got to be ready for these. Actually, no matter what, I'm not telling you, because no matter what force you're applying to, you need to be ready for these questions. Come and join me on one of my webinars where we talk about these. And like I said, we don't just talk about it, we practice the questions. I'll put a link below if you want to check out that link and come and join me. You absolutely won't regret it. This is your opportunity to work personally with me to enable you to succeed in what is often the last hurdle. All right, well, listen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I shall catch up with you very soon. Bye-bye for now.